You say this is your second term as council.
Yep.
Looking back, how has it gone? What are you happy about some of the things that you've done?
Oh, look, I'll say I reckon I've got the best portfolios on council, Andrew. So I've got positive aging, diversity, and accessibility. So I've got a lot of external relationships out there, a lot of groups from the age sector, age concern, grey power, and from a diversity standpoint, you've got all your multicultural groups and stuff. So, for instance, I was on stage at the Diwali event on Sunday at the sports park, magnificent event. And then obviously moving through into the disability space, you've got a lot of passionate people there, a lot of advocacy and stuff. So yeah, look, working with all those people and building those relationships and actually getting some traction in those spaces. And a lot of that work was done before I got on council. Say, for instance, my colleagues, Councillor Maxine Bogue and Councillor Taylor, both did a lot of work on the positive aging strategy, and then that came in just as we got on council. So being able to work through that and work through some of the actions of that, so forth, and becoming an age-friendly city, which is always a work in progress. Some people have a little giggle at that, but at the end of the day, that just means we've signed a commitment that we need to then try and adhere to and try and better. Also in the multicultural space, we're working on a new multicultural strategy, and that's a work in progress. We are unique to Hastings, but I'm not one to want to reinvent the wheel. So we've taken on board a little bit of information from our partners, other councils and so forth, that already have these strategies in place, to then take a look and say, well, what can we do with this, to then try and use it as a template to adapt for us here in Napier. But probably moreover is the stuff in the disability space. We've got a lot of stuff happening both in the council arena, where we've got barrier-free training and so forth for some of our staff, barrier-free training for especially our roading team. But a lot of the time it's a case of you can't unsee something. So if now I walk into a public toilet that's meant to be for disabilities, kind of go, how's this meant to work? So I got told I'd always have things change. Like, I go on holidays and wonder how the stormwater works. It's not always the fun stuff. But yeah, look, I managed to secure 300,000 that was meant to be used on some roading projects. I managed to keep that brought forward at the last 3-year plan to then be able to put that into disability projects. So I'm quite proud about that. But yeah, there is a lot of movement in that, and I'm the face for it, Andrew. But the reality is, it's the staff doing the fantastic work in the background. So yeah, I'm the one that gets it in the back if it doesn't work out. But ultimately, it's the staff that are doing the massive work here. But no, look, as I said before, this term I am deputy chair of our infrastructure committee, Sustainable Napier. So that's been a massive learning curve as well. But then I've kind of been in that space a little bit with some of the roading projects as well through the disability lens, because obviously infrastructure, roading, footpaths and stuff like that. So yeah, really, really, really happy about that, and just seeing some of our community actually get some of the projects that they want over the top. We do have some problems with our Tom Parker fountain at the moment, but it was through some awesome work with staff and my colleague Sally Crown, we managed to get the Tom Parker fountain ramp done, so that people with disabilities or mobility issues can cruise up to go and see the platform. Whereas before, they used to have to go basically all the way down to the sound shell to have to do that. So now they can go into the War Memorial, have a look around there, cruise down. There's now a tar-sealed path that goes from the War Memorial to the fountain, and then they can mosey on down to the waterfront. And also, as part of the Marine Parade revamp, they managed to remove the ability, for what I understand was to stop or deter skateboarding. They removed the ability for those with mobility issues and say wheelchairs to get down to the sunken garden. So obviously that ramp's been put in there as well, which I'm equally proud of.
Yeah. Now, obviously there have been some interesting decisions to make, and it was thrust on all councils by the central government that you basically had to make a decision again on Māori wards, and there's going to be referendums on this. What is your view on this? Because your council is set to get Māori wards at this election. What is your view next election? What is your view on Māori wards?
So I want to acknowledge the fact that it actually doesn't affect me too much, being sort of 48 years old and being a white male. But I encourage you actually, Andrew, to check out my statement that we had. If you look at the video, the recorded the recorded video on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
I basically sort of win at both angles. For instance, some of the rhetoric that I hear is just plain all out. It can get quite interesting what we hear from both sides. But I basically said, Andrew, like, when did we stop being human first and foremost? And treating other people how they want to be treated. There's been a lot of rhetoric and a lot of stuff thrown out from both sides. I don't think you could point the finger necessarily at one ethnic group. But I mean, I just basically said that, we said we'd have them when we made our first decision in 2021, I believe. Give them the opportunity to try it out. But my thing was, I said, turn up. You want to, use it or lose it. You got to prove that you actually want to be there and turn up to these things. So, I mean, attendance is the most important thing, but also an opportunity for Māori, who obviously we know that generally the voter turnout for Māori is quite low. But again, that's not taken into consideration how they feel about this government structure as well, which is not for me to comment on. So it could just be sort of, the 180 odd years of their grievance, which is, again, beyond my control. It's there, turn up, and I guess the government have their mandate and they'll do what they want to do. As far as I'm concerned, as I say, it's affect me too much. I didn't vote against it, but then again, if you were to listen to my speech, I basically said, everyone needs to pull their socks up with this and start being, just treat each other how you want to be treated again.
Yeah. Now, moving forward and get into the end here, but what is the future for you? Do you have another term in you?
Yeah, I do, 100%. You've got some projects I want to see through. We've got a couple of my strategies that I have that will need to be reviewed at some point. I really want to see some of the other things through. We've got a lot of stuff happening in the disability space again, and also again like the infrastructure stuff. I mean, I'm not sure if my fellow councillor, Councillor Price, who's chair of our Sustainable Napier Committee, whether or not he's going to stay on, and there could be bigger opportunities for me in growth. And as I said at the start, like, I love learning. So, I've had a few meetings. I've managed to chair a few meetings. So that's really cool. And some people might think that's a little bit weird, getting excited about stuff like that. But ultimately, if you want growth and you want to do better, then it's about learning and throwing yourself in the deep end and doing it. So, I'm quite happy to say I don't know everything, but I'm happy to find people that can help me out with the answers. Yeah.
Any aspirations to be mayor or deputy mayor at any stage?
No, and the reason for that is I just talked about growth, Andrew, but mate, honestly, I see how hard Kirsten Wise works, and just quietly, I have a young family, and I really don't know if I'd be able to keep my wife happy if I went ahead and our role's based on 25 hours a week, but the reality is it's a lot more than that with various duties and so forth, and I'm auditory, so I tend to have to read to myself to actually absorb what I'm reading.
Oh, yeah.
So of course, to do that, I need to find my own space to do that. So sometimes we can have some massive reading. Our 3-year plan was like this, reams and reams of paper. It's some of us have our calling, and I think I'm definitely, I feel like I'm making a difference in my community by being on the council. And I mean, who knows? If you had to talk to me in 2018, Andrew, about whether or not I'd be on the council, I would have said you're ridiculous.
Yeah.
So who knows? I never say never, but at this stage, seeing how hard Mayor Wise works, I don't have any massive aspirations to think I could include that into my life right now.
Grego, Mawson, thank you so much for your time and all the best for the future. And I'm sure we'll be talking again at some stage.
Always a pleasure, Andrew. Thank you very much.